Hey, it's Rick. Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'll show you how I made this Ren and Stimpy animation cell. I started by collecting some reference on the internet. I combined a few different images to get this one. I wanted the background to be the classic colored blobs, so I created that with a watercolor technique. I started with a piece of masonite and some Arches watercolor paper. I mounted the paper to the masonite with contact cement. To do that, I first coat the masonite and the paper, allowing that layer to dry, and then pressing them both together. I did some test samples first to see if my idea was going to work. I used Liquitex acrylic ink for the background, yellow, orange, and red. I put them into small cups to make them easier to access with a large brush. I washed the whole paper with water and then started dropping colors into it. It got away from me a bit at the top, where all the colors started to run. In the end, I turned the whole thing 180 degrees and it works much better. I created all these characters in Illustrator so I could send the vector art to my vinyl cutter. This way I can get some really nice line work. I used to draw all the cells freehand with a technical pen, but this comes out so much cleaner. I'm using vivid stencil vinyl for this. Once I place the stencil, I can weed it with an X-Acto knife. Then I spray the line work with an airbrush and some acetate ink. Once the line work is dry, I can paint the colors in by hand. I'm using flash vinyl paint for this. It's essentially acrylic, but it doesn't bead up on slick surfaces like metal and plastic. This is a bit of a departure from the materials I normally use. All the previous cells I've painted were done on glass with Tester's model enamel, but this time I'm working on acrylic sheets with this vinyl paint. This cell is composed of 5 separate pieces, and I found in the past that if you stack that much glass, it gets very dark and very blue. It turns out the glass isn't really transparent. I bought some of that low iron extra clear glass, but found it was just as bad for this, so I went with acrylic. Acrylic has its own problems. It's very susceptible to scratching. You can't even wipe it. It's also got crazy static charge to it, so it attracts dust. Also, I believe it will yellow over time, but I don't know how long that will take or how bad it will be. The magic nose goblins were interesting to paint. Since I'm painting on the back of the glass, I have to paint in reverse, so all the highlights first. This isn't how it would have been done on an actual cell, it's just how I wanted to try it here. I mixed a lot of colors for this and blended them together on the acrylic. Once the first layers dried, I could paint the rest over top. Then it was time to assemble the whole thing. The front glass goes in first, followed by the matting, and then each cell in turn with a spacer of foam core between them. The spacer adds to the dimensional look, having each cell spaced about 1/4 of an inch apart. Then the background goes in last and is held in with nails. Here's what the final piece looks like. Overall, I think it turned out well. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you were inspired by this video. Don't forget to hit all the buttons on your way out, and thanks for watching.